Florida is breaking records in this presidential election. State officials say 6.5 million Floridians voted early. That's about half of Florida's total voters. Democrats have cast 90,000 more ballots than Republicans going into today, but we really don't yet know how they voted. Of course, Florida's 29 electoral votes could really come down to just a few counties. Consider this. Back in 2012, President Obama won the state by just 74,000 votes. That's less than 1 percentage point. Kevin Cate is here. He's the founder of CATECOMM, a PR and advertising firm down in Florida. He works with Democratic candidates down there, knows Florida very well, and strangely, used to be an intern here on this very spot.
I was much smarter back then.
Well,
I knew a lot more.
Well, didn't you? You all do, the young ones. Now you do know a lot about Florida, and when we start watching Florida tonight, because it's the first thing, Virginia closes before, but it is Florida that we're going to know. Is it Broward County to watch first? Is it the whole corridor? What are we looking at the beginning?
Well, what we know, what you mentioned, is we have 89,000 vote lead going into today.
Democrats do.
Democrats do, sorry. We, Democrats. So we have 90,000 votes that is the margin. What Trump needs to do, if I'm Donald Trump and I'm watching tonight, I'm watching Duval County. He needs those numbers to go.
Duval is the Keys.
Well, that's the Jacksonville area.
Oh, Jacksonville, sorry.
And he needs to run up the score there. He went in today with a deficit, which is almost unheard of in Duval County. And now it's 2,000 to 4,000 Republican lead. He needs that to be in the tens of thousands in that area. He needs to make sure everything north of Gainesville except Tallahassee basically is turning out. These are older, white voters who his message has resonated with.
They had hoped for less of a voter turnout in the Broward County area around Fort Lauderdale because that would mean fewer Latinos. Instead, their numbers apparently are skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's unheard of what's happened down there. And you had an extra Sunday of early vote. Now, not every Florida county had that extra Sunday.
Just the big ones.
Well, the big ones for Hillary. Absolutely.
How did that happen?
Well, you have elections aren't rigged. I don't know if you've heard that, but we have local supervisors of elections and local governments, and they decide if they want their elections open on that Sunday.
The Latino vote in Florida is a little different than most places. You have this big Cuban population down south. The older ones, especially second and third generation ones, are very Republican. Are the millennials? Do we have a way to know yet if young Latinos are really skewing like 7-3 Democrat, or is there not really a model for that yet?
Well, what we know is that everything that Donald Trump said after he walked down or strolled down that escalator offended a whole heck of a lot of people in Florida, and that has built a firewall for Secretary Clinton down in South Florida. We've seen lines through the early vote. We see lines down there today. It's going to take a miracle, basically, for him to overcome the margin that he set up through not having an early vote plan. And the New York Times said the other day he had an early vote plan for Florida in front of him for 2 weeks and didn't do anything. And now you've got 6.5 million votes that have already been cast going into Election Day. He is so far behind, it would be hard to see how he makes it up.
It looks like Marco Rubio is going to survive, though. All the numbers suggest that he will. How did he do that?
Well, in Florida, politicians are like cats. They have 9 lives, and they keep coming back. As a consultant for Charlie Crist, I know that.
Well, it doesn't look like he's coming back. He's running for a House seat, but
well, he's in Florida 13. I'm confident that he'll pull it out. It may be a slimmer margin than we hope.
You just told a fib, but go on.
But Senator Rubio will most likely be reelected. I've seen nothing that says that he won't. That's a big disappointment for Democrats, but they had to make a decision. It probably would have cost $10 to $15 million more to make Patrick Murphy competitive in that race.
That's the
challenger.
Up-and-coming challenger.
Absolutely. And they spread that money out through these other states, which we'll be watching later tonight on the broadcast channel.
Kevin will be with us tonight, as so many will, tonight on the Fox Broadcast Network. Prime time in your local area, and then late night, of course. Good to see you, Kevin.
Thanks, John.